Well, welcome everybody. We are excited today to have Nikki with us, who is an accomplished hairdresser whose journey has now led her to become an author. With over 35 years of experience in the industry, Nikki has built a reputation of her exceptional skills. She has styled countless clients and always bringing out the best in everyone who sits in her chair. Nikki's writing offers an authentic glimpse into the life of a hairdresser, filled with personal anecdotes, professional triumphs, and the challenges that come with the territory. Nikki's journey is a testament to her resilience and dedication, and through her book, she aims to inspire both seasoned professionals and inspiring stylists. So, welcome, Nikki.
Nice. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, one of the ways we always like to start our interviews is so our listeners can get more so of a background, because usually bios
Hmm.
are kind of just an overview. So, talk us through what led us up to this moment. So, it says here, 35 years of experience. Did you always know you wanted to be behind the chair? Was that your passion, like in middle school? Did you just know, or did you stumble upon it? So, kind of walk us through what brought us here.
Yeah, well, I always had a love of hair. I mean, there wasn't a Barbie doll that was safe near me, just always loved creating. And, I wasn't athletic. So I was like, my sister was like super athletic, and I was like playing with Barbies and like making dresses and doing the hair. But it was actually when I was in middle school, I was getting my hair washed in the salon, and I saw that they had a sign for a shampoo assistant. And I don't do anything through the summer. And I figured for a summer job, I applied, and I lied and said that I was going to go to cosmetology, but I really had no intentions. But once I started, like the first day, even though on my first day, it was a little, I dedicated the book to the first person I've ever washed. But so it was a stressful day, but I don't know. I felt it. I felt like this was something I wanted to be part of. And then as I started to work, I actually felt like maybe I do want to go to cosmetology. Maybe I do want to be part of this. I really felt like and it's weird at 15 to say you found where you belong, but it felt so right. And I just loved everything I was seeing. People walked in unhappy, and then they're always looking forward to get their hair done, be in a salon, see their hairdresser. I mean, what other job could you say that? And and I felt like we make them happy. They left happier than when they were when they walked in. And I guess being a kid, so simple, like when your mind is just so simple, it just really stuck with me. And I said, I really think that this is what I want to do. So, and then I did take cosmetology a few years later, but I stayed in that salon for many years, and they trained me and they mentored me, and it just that's where it began. That's how it all started.
We love that. And then fast forward, 35 years, you decided to put it all together and write
Yeah.
a book.
Yeah, it's actually 36 years because the book has been out for about 9 months. It truly, going from assistant to hairdresser to salon owner, it's all different lanes. So,
Hmm.
in my opinion, there's different roles you play for each of those aspects of the beauty industry. So now being a salon owner and being responsible, like the mother of the group, to me it was stressful and very frustrating. So I would come home, and as like a therapy session for myself, I would just journal. And then I was journaling some of these crazy stories that I was experiencing, or frustrations, and like hiring and firing and dealing with staff and back orders, and I just would journal. And to be honest, I wasn't even telling anybody about it. It was really just for me. And that I'd go back to it from time and time again. And I have a little comical the way I speak and the way I act. So I parlay that into my writing as well. So I was reading it back. It was funny. And I just started to say, you know what, let me kind of put it together. Maybe one day I'll put it together as a book. I really never thought I would. And then I just said, there are other people. And one thing I'm learning, and the greatest thing about social media, is you learn about other people and you see how frustrated. And I felt like I wasn't alone. And I feel that some people are kind of leaving the career because they just can't handle it anymore. And I felt my stories would maybe resonate with other stylists and salon owners and assistants, and maybe it would make them not feel alone, and maybe give them a laugh and make them understand that, you know what, I know it's tough, but she's hanging in there. Maybe I can hang in there too.
It's a great book. I just got started reading it, and you can hear your voice in the book.
Everybody,
Yes.
everybody says that now that you met me and now you hear my voice, it is
Mhm.
connected. Yes.
I can see why Gino Stampora really, resonated with the book and
Yeah.
announced it. And Susie announced it in his class about your book.
Hmm.
And I went up to your husband and said, I want to interview her for the podcast. So that was
Yeah.
pretty amazing to meet you in person and to hear your story. And I love the fact that you're also targeting people who are in the industry already, not just new people, because you want to
Absolutely.
give that reality. And I love that because let's first talk to that future professional, the one that's in school. And I know you go to cosmetology schools, and thank you for doing that. I think that's
Thank
incredible. I think one of we're school owners as well as salon owners, and so we
hmm
kind of see both ends of it. But
hmm
one of the biggest frustrations as school owners is not getting enough people like yourself donating their time to come in and give back to our future professionals, to give them the reality of this business. Like we might say things, but they're just, they put it in one ear and out the other. But then you come in and say something and they're like, oh my gosh, this is true.
And
Like it's a shot
and this
in the arm.
this just happened. I was at a school on Monday, and when we took a break between the two classes, the morning class and an afternoon class, she said, you said so many things that I say already,
Hmm.
but I'm not their school mom. So
Hmm.
hearing it from me validates what she is trying to drill into them. And you're dealing with high school kids, they don't believe grown-ups. So I felt for her, she felt a sense of validation. And those kids,
Yeah.
I deal with this behind the chair as well. You know, a mom will tell the kid, don't cut your hair to your shoulders.
Right.
You're going to be miserable. And the kid's like, don't tell me what to do. Then the
Right.
kid sits in my chair and I say, if you do cut it to your shoulders, you're not going to be able to pull it back. You know what? You're right. You're right. Like the mother's been telling them the whole time, but
Yeah.
yet they believe me because I'm not their mom. And I really have to say, this is a new thing for me speaking to the cosmetology courses. If anything comes out of this book, I really love this part of it because I'm getting them. I call them unripe green bananas. They don't have a clue. And
Right.
they really just think that they do, because that this generation thinks that they just know everything, and they don't. And I'm the grim reaper to tell them, you're going to have to push the broom. You're going to, but I try to focus on the fact that they're not just pushing a broom and washing hair. I tell them all the time, you're not washing hair. You're providing a service. You are the first experience.
Right.
I explained to them how I took it so seriously and felt like I was on stage at all times. It benefited me years later when it was my time to grow. I might not have ever touched their hair with scissors or a blow dryer, but they would say, well, she's amazing. Like I watched this kid clean and she washes my hair so great. She's so attentive. She must be good behind the chair. And I
Hmm.
grew because of that. So I try to make sure that the cosmetology schools know it is very frustrating in the beginning. I'm not going to lie to them and tell them it's all rainbows and unicorns. It's going to suck a little bit, but just absorb what you're seeing, learn from everything you're seeing. And also know you're not just an employee, you're an integral part of the process. And I've always felt that way. And in my own salon, that's how I treat my assistants. And I want this new generation to know that it's going to be worth all the hard work that you're going to have to put in.
Yeah.
Something that I love that you basically just kind of brought up is the power of words and the words that you choose to use in your day, because you just said, and instantly how that changes. It's not just washing hair, you're offering an experience.
Mhm. You're part of it.
So talk a little bit about mindset and shifting your mindset, especially when you first come out of school, because like
Mhm.
you said, you get those that, they know it all, and the instant gratification from Instagram, they should have the million
Mhm.
followers, and
Mhm.
but it's about keeping a positive mind, and I think it's about changing those words. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that.
I, I feel sometimes how you say something is important. This is where like everybody text messages now. So if I text you, call me when you get a second. You might perceive it as call me when you get a second. I feel that verbal is the best. And I know that it's technology and this is where we're living and this is the world we're living in right now. But mindset is like I just referenced. You're not just washing somebody's hair. You're providing them with the service. You are part of this process. You are taking our clients who we hold in very high regard. I teach them about opening the dialogue. So instead of just leaning somebody back in the sink, before you lean them back, you make sure they're comfortable. So you ask them, open the dialogue. How does you feel? Do you feel comfortable? You can't turn that hose on until they are. Take a look. Maybe they're lying and saying, yeah, I'm fine. Take a look. Now, mindset is making sure that everybody is comfortable throughout the whole process. So you say, just let me know if the water's too hot or too cold. 9 times out of 10, if you don't open the dialogue, the client's going to get a cold shampoo, come to me and complain, but because you didn't ask how the water temperature was, they're going to suffer through it. And I tell them, let's talk dollars and cents. Your tip goes down. Tell them about what shampoos you're using. Tell them your hair feels a little dry. I'm going to be using this shampoo here today. Please let me know if this is too strong or if you want me to go stronger. When that client comes up from the sink, they are in awe of a child who provided that service. And selfishly, as a stylist, they walked in stressful. They hit traffic. They're hungry. They came from work. Their kids are driving them nuts. My assistant just gave them a really unique experience, a pleasurable experience. Now they're calm in my chair. I don't want a stressed out client in my chair. So it is important that they do that. So mindset is I'm not just pushing a broom. I am cleaning the salon to make sure that it looks amazing at all times. I am a glass half full person. In our world, it's hard to stay that way, but I try my best. And I feel that they're like little sponges. And if you're kind to them, because I know you have to lead with positive reinforcement. This is, and I don't have children. So this is like, I always tell them like, I chose not to have children. But I feel that if you're kind to them, it's going to resonate and they will now in turn be kind to others. And I don't care what they do outside of my salon, but in my salon, my clients come number one and you have to be part of the team. And I've had some of the biggest chips on the shoulders, melt that away and actually become really good employees by also leading by example. I can't just tell them what to do and then go on about do as I say, not as I do. So I have to stay positive. So that's my spiel.
I love that so much. And it's interesting because being a salon owner, I know you've learned a lot of things about how to lead. And I love that you just lead with kindness.
Absolutely.
What do you think is the number one mistake that salon owners are making? Because we are hearing a lot from different salon owners that they're frustrated, so to speak, with this generation. I've been in this business for 20 years, not as long as you, but we have heard, back and forth. It's always the generation, it's Sean's generation, millennial generation that they were frustrated with. Now it's the next generation.
It's so easy to just deflect the blame.
Yes.
It's easy to deflect the blame. I'm not going to say I maybe because I'm the restaurant owner that will bust the tables and wash the dishes if I have to. Everybody has a role. And I'm very strong and very strict in my business. Anyone who's ever worked for me will say, I know that they've gone in the back room and if that back room can talk, I don't care what they say, but I lead by example, but I understand wholeheartedly the frustration that other salon owners have. It is very hard to find good employment. It is very hard to retain the employment. Everybody in this younger generation thinks that the grass is greener. And I have my own opinions because, I think that they go on TikTok and they go on Instagram and it's all about being, independent. And, I hear this young generation, when I ask them what they're going to do, what they want to do with their life, they have answered me. And this is legitimately an 18-year-old entering college says, I don't really know what I want to do, but I do know that I need a work-life balance. That's an earned position. You don't just come out of the gate without any job experience saying like, I need a good work-life balance. I feel that the frustration that a lot of salon owners are feeling, I feel it for them. I'm feeling it with them. And I feel that it's going to be honest, it's a generational thing. I grew up in the early 90s. We all had jobs. These kids really don't want to work. I think as far as retaining stylists, a lot of times stylists feel like, the grass is greener and I'm just going to go do it on my own and go independent, and they walk away. But being part of a team, I feel, is extremely important. You know what? I guess it's a crapshoot. I mean, I try my best and I'm good to them and I put them before myself. It's shot me in the foot many times because you get taken advantage of. It's just a crapshoot. Some people get it and some people don't. I think if you just, not to live in a negative space, but if you prepare that it's going to be stressful and you might not be able to retain them, maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. So,
So I love what you're saying, but I want to kind of dive into how can we adapt
mm,
as salon owners in this current staffing area that we're in, because work-life balance is very much a true thing. I
mhm.
think I think it's been up and coming, a little more taboo before, where now it's more so in the forefront. And a lot of times those of us that are successful and salon owners and salon managers, we have that mentality of we're workhorses and work first, and that's what that is. So, what are some things that you can tell our listeners out there, some shifts, some adaptations that need to take place, because the work-life balance
Mhm.
isn't going to go away anytime soon.
No, it's us dinosaurs that have to adapt to it.
Yeah, so
And
let's talk about that, because I remember, where Saturdays were a mandatory salon day, Fridays. There's more and more salons that aren't even open on Saturdays because it's just the thing, so it's shifting. So again, going back to like mindset, like how do we as dinosaurs, as you said, get in touch so that one, we're appealing when we're in front of cosmetology students as a place you want to work, because the dinosaur, us up there as dinosaurs saying we work 40 hours a week and you will be here Saturdays, and is not where their heads are. So what are some things
Yeah.
that we can do, and some verbiage that we can kind of shift to appeal to that?
Well, what I feel strongly, like you said, it is not going anywhere. Everybody's mindset is that. The thing that will help us dinosaurs to adapt is that many people are, it used to be everybody worked 9 to 5 all week long, and that's why Saturdays were mandatory. Now, I'm still a mandatory Saturday person. I still have people who need that Saturday. There is no space in my schedule to put them. So unfortunately for me, I'm going to still say that I am still a Saturday person. However, because people can work from home, and I've had more people that are so grateful for, I'll do a 3 hour balayage and they will be on their laptop the whole time, or do an extension install and they're on their laptop or on their Zoom calls, so that helps. I think that we just have to understand that the way we used to do it and the way we were workhorses, if you choose to stay that way, that's okay, but you can't expect everybody else to do it. I think we just have to wrap our arms around it. We used to be a 5-day-a-week salon. I made a decision that we will only work 4 days. So we work Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So in a way, we are working smarter, not harder. We're eliminating the day. It helps me as a business owner that I don't have to worry about spreading it out. We do 4 real good days. We're doing 5 days worth of work in 4 days. So
Mhm.
everybody gets another day off. Selfishly, as a salon owner, I don't have to staff a desk and I don't have to staff assistants. And I don't have to worry about showing up. I love people will say, are you closed on Thursdays? I'll get text messages every Thursday. Are you guys closed today? Yes. I never heard of a salon being closed on Thursday. Well, now you did. So, but that's a step in the direction that I did. So we're doing 4 days that are stronger. We split shifts sometimes. I just think that I know how I am. My husband calls me tin cup. I can cut your hair with scissors from my kitchen, and I could, I never stop behind the chair. I could have 3 heads going at one time. I can't expect that everybody's going to do that. So as a salon owner, you have to know you can't push people. If they choose to, you could embrace that. But pushing them to do so and saying, oh, I do this, it's not going to work. You're going to lose them. I just feel that, like you said, also, I think it's a mindset thing. Instead of saying like they would call it work if it wasn't. Instead of saying work, I always keep inspiring that we're making people happy every day. So we have a gift. What other job or occupation is everybody happy to see? Do you want to go to the dentist? Are you so excited to see your dentist? No, everybody loves. And we're changing their concept, building confidence. So I'm always trying to at least encourage, like, look at how great that was. Look at this woman. You saw, her mom is dying and she's stressed at work, but like, look how calm she left. Like, we did that. We did that. So I think encouragement of positivity is really just stick with that and just understand that some people are just not going to do things the way you do it. So I just have to, I got to suck it up. If it was up to me, we'd all be working 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, but I cannot expect that. If I choose to do that, then that's my choice. I listen to Mel Robbins all the time, and it's like, she stays in my head, like, what? Not going to do it. You're got to get over it. So I do feel as a salon owner, I've had to go back on a lot of my original thoughts. I can't expect it from people. I can only know what I can expect from myself and just lead by example.
Yeah, I think that is one of the mistakes that a lot of business owners in general make, right? Whether you're a salon owner or not, is not adapting to your environment or to the culture that's happening in our country right now. So that's huge. And so as you start to think about some of the mistakes that you've seen, that you've made, and that you think salon owners are making right now, what are some other top ones that you see?
Mistakes. Where do I begin? I always kind of wanted everybody to feel like my family and embrace them and become personal in your personal. I'm still a creature of that. It's broken my heart more times than I want to imagine. They're not my friends. They're my employees. And I think that was one huge thing. I think I blur the lines many times. And I overextend because I'm so grateful for the work and I kind of treat them like family, but I don't get that back. I'm still going to always care for them on a level that is higher up than others, but I can't assume that they're my friends. The other thing too is, sticking to my guns. I'm learning, especially with this new environment we just spoke about. You have to soften a little bit. I've stuck to my guns and I've lost people. I've lost clients over it. I think also in the very beginning, I wasn't strong enough with policy. I felt that if a client was with me forever, that the rules didn't apply. And I feel that policy is very strong. And now in the later years, we have, cancellation fees and we take deposits for large appointments because if that person just decided to call me in the morning and say, oh, I'm just not going to come in, and I had 5 hours blocked off, we lost that. So in the beginning, it was like I was left upset and that client was able to just rebook. So I've learned, and I think by being burned, I feel like policy is extremely important. And I feel that boundaries. I think boundaries, I've had to enforce boundaries with clients, with staff, and for myself. I just was a mule. For years, I just worked and I just did. And I feel that, where did it get me? Where did it get me? I'm very happy, but it's also, I'm exhausted. So I realized that I have to say no. Still working on that. I don't say no, but I am learning. I'm learning, but it took a long time. But I mean, honestly, I feel that that's once you can put your boundaries up and tell your clients no, and so like if I decided not to work on Saturdays, sorry that that's inconvenient for you, but these are my hours, and you have to stick to your guns. I'm learning that now later on, and that was a very huge mistake that I had made back in the day.
Yeah, that's so big.
As,
I love that. Mm-hmm.
as we start to kind of wrap up, I'd love to hear first how people can find you, where you live, and on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to hear what advice or what would you like to leave on the hearts of the upcoming assistant, the current stylist, and the salon owner or manager? Those three people that are listening, what would you leave them with?
We'll start with that first. So I want to leave the assistants to know it might not be easy, and you might feel like a little fish in a big pond, but absorb it, soak in. I tell all the students I speak to, I ask them, do you go on TikTok and Instagram and watch the reels on how to do hair? You have your own YouTube channel. You watch that stylist, ask questions. I feel if you really want it, it's right there for you. If you don't, that's okay too. I've had assistants that never even went to cosmetology. We just train them, and they work great, and then they may have a job to put themselves through college, we'll say. But I feel like if you really want it, it is right there for you. And just hang in there. You're gonna make mistakes. Don't cower or leave. You know, this younger generation, they have this crippling fear of failure. And I want them to understand anxiety, such as that, is a mindset. You're choosing to focus on the things that you're nervous about. Let it go. And it's right there for you. For a stylist, learn to say no, but also learn to extend yourself. If you want to grow, you can't, the scissors don't just start at 10 a.m. and then stop at 4 p.m. Stay late, come early if you need to. That's how you grow. So I do feel a lot of new stylists that are like, they have their own chair and they're boxing themselves in. And I feel that I grew because I was always willing to stay late, and I was always willing to, for the right person, maybe come early or fit them in. But you still have to put your boundaries up. And I feel that that's, if they could just, and always educate. Always educate you. And I'm 51 years old, 36 years. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
From the salon owners, drink heavily, because that's what no, not really, but that's what worked for me. 85% of what this is in here, I wrote under the influence because I'm looser, and that's part of my process. And strangely enough, it was actually legible when I would read it back the next day. But truly, I feel, put your seatbelt on. It's a bumpy ride. You are responsible for everybody. You are the lifeguard of that beach. I am, and I lead by example, and just do your best, be as genuine as you can, say what you mean. Don't keep them guessing. That I find happens a lot. I will throw something out there and walk away. It lands differently. They don't understand it. Explain what you mean. Show what you mean. Lead by example. Prepare yourself. I never thought I had somebody who worked with me for 21 years. She left me out of nowhere. She left me and told me when her stuff was in the car, and told me this was her last day. 21 years. I never expected that to happen. I don't know why. She said she just wanted to be on her own. She's on her own. I was heartbroken. I'm still heartbroken, but you have to move on. It's going to happen. So at that moment, I am also, and I would like to add this, I'm an operating owner. I'm still behind the chair. I know that a lot of owners walk away from being behind the chair. In a moment like that, I was able to swoop in and take on the people that wanted to stay, and maybe even encourage those who were on the fence to stay because I was there. I've had during COVID, I tested positive. I had to get behind that chair and take care of those people. You know, one of my head stylists had sepsis. She was out of work for 2 months. She almost died. I was working 6 days a week to take care of her people too. If you're not behind the chair, who do you get? Who would I get in a moment's notice? So I
Mhm.
feel that I am an operating owner, and that's what works for me. Do what works for you as a salon owner, and stick to your guns and be genuine, and staff up, and try to, keep your team together. But just be prepared. You never know. It's like Russian roulette. You just don't know what the next door is. Just when you think, and I even write it in the book, just when you think you're on the right lane, something happens to derail you. So not to live negatively, but if you just assume the bottom's going to drop out somehow, it's like something's going too good. I'm on this plane and it's too damn smooth. It's going to get turbulent in a moment. Just prepare for it. And then this way, when it does happen, you could pick yourself up off the floor after that heap of Kleenex from, crying your eyes out, and get to work. It's not
Love it.
easy, not an easy lane. I'm learning it 19 years, and it does not get easier.
Love it.
So
Great
they're not going to
advice.
like what I have to say, but truly, on the flip side of it all, it is very rewarding. I love my team. I love my business. I put every bit of my energy into it. And if you really want it and you're willing to stick through the hard stuff, it is rewarding. Our clients are so much to us, and they love us. And to know that we do that kind of work is really amazing.
Yeah, I love it. So how do they find you?
Oh, well, you can find me on, well, this is my book. Superhero. It is listed on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, so they can buy the book there. They can find me on Instagram. The Instagram handle is superhero the book 2024.
Okay.
My website is superhero, all lowercase. That's important. Superhero.co, not com. That's a confusing thing. I have a lot of people not able to contact me that way, but that is it. Superhero.co. My salon is in Merrick. It's called Karma Beauty Studio, and that is our Instagram. Our name of our salon is our Instagram. They can find us there as well. I'm happy to speak to anybody. So if anybody feels that they want to reach out to me, I am always willing. I'm up at 3 a.m. buying stuff on Instagram. So if they message me, I can just message them right back. Because what else would I be doing at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning?
I get it. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on your book,
Thank you so much.
and you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.